we have arrived at the Golden Gate Bridge, opened in 1937, I do believe, and it's also one of the man-made wonders of the world. Constructed in 1933, opened in 1937, it is 3 miles long. Look at it in all its glory. It's lovely and red and orange and cars and walking on it. It's...
I don't know what to say.
Don't know what else to say really about it, but it's a bridge. It's quite a magnificent view, not only seeing the Golden Gate Bridge, but seeing San Francisco in the background, and then seeing this whole landscape of the Pacific Ocean, I think. It's just quite a view. I have just come to the filming location of Mrs Doubtfire. This is it, this is where she stayed. 2640 Steiner Street, or Steiner Street. It looks exactly the same as it does in the movie, if it wasn't for this tree in the way, but everything's exactly the same. The infamous Robin Williams has walked these exact same paths as me. Crazy! Get out the way, you people. Hello! And this is the road. And it ends with him driving down the massive hill into San Fran.
You're going to be all right. Bye-bye.
And just outside the house is a really cool memorial, all dedicated to Robin Williams. Where people have written stuff on rocks here, and there's a little bit on this slab of stone here, but yeah, really cool. One other thing that I've looked at, which is in the movie, is all the different tram lines. There are hundreds of different wires going through all the streets, interlining with one another. It's really just mental, but it seems to work down here. We have come to Lombard Street in San Francisco, and apparently, according to Google Maps, this is the most crookedest street in the world. And you can kind of see it as cars drive down, that it's just weaving in and out all the time. Absolutely ridiculous why it was built like this in the first place. I have no idea. I think I'm going to have to drive down it and get in some road rage. But also you can see how hilly San Francisco is. Just hills galore everywhere on these streets. I would not like to park on them in case my car goes down the street. We are now about to drive on Lombard Street, the crookedest street in the world. Let's see how this goes. And there we are at the end. That was worth it. Nah. Today we are on our way to Alcatraz. I've always wanted to visit the infamous prison in San Francisco. We're just on the boat ride now. There it is. We're approaching it. Not really too sure what to expect. Hopefully it's going to be like the film Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood. The boat ride is not only for Alcatraz, but also it offers some really stunning views of San Francisco. All the different views and architecture is quite amazing really. It's kind of like New York. And in the far background we've got the Golden Gate Bridge as well. And the other day I was standing right up there. At Alcatraz, inmates unbelievably had only 2 showers a week. There were 40 showers which originally had stools to sit down, however they were removed in the 1950s to allow guards to oversee inmates and protect them from assault. That's where they get their uniform. It's mad, just how small it is. Here are just some of the famous inmates that were held at Alcatraz. The legendary Al Scarface Capone for tax evasion, George Machine Gun Kelly for kidnapping, Arthur Dox Barker for conspiracy to kidnap, Alvin Creepy Karpovitz for conspiracy to kidnap, Robert the Birdman Stroud for murder, Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson for narcotics, and Mayor Mickey Cohen for tax evasion. One of the worst blocks to have a cell in Alcatraz was D Block, or also known as as the treatment unit. This was reserved for dangerous and violent inmates. Men received adequate food and health care, however they were confined to their cells for a staggering 24 hours a day. They would be here for a few days or even several years depending on their offence. You'd literally go insane being confined to such a small space for that length of time. Absolutely mad. Also, the closed front cells were used for severe disciplinary problems. These were referred to as the hole, where inmates would live in total darkness and on a restricted diet. They'd usually be in here for several days, but never more than 19. You can see in this video just how bad it must have been, but imagine this in the dark. You'd go absolutely crazy. Feels really weird in here. One infamous escape that went dreadfully wrong was in 1946. Inmate Bernie Coy planned the whole thing. He would slip through the bars of the gun gallery where guards patrolled, overwhelm a guard and grab his gun and keys to free 5 accomplices and race to shore. However, it all went wrong. Too many officers had been taken hostage. One guard had hidden the exit key. The escape sirens were alerted and the Marines dropped grenades in through the roof to kill Bernie and his gang. Here are the 6 inmates that took part in the riot. Bernie Coy, who coordinated the whole escape, he starved himself to slip through the bars. Joseph Kretzer shot 5 guards in cold blood. He died in the riot. Once the plan failed, Moran Thompson wanted to kill the hostages to eliminate witnesses. He later was executed. Sam Shockley intended to kill the hostages. He later was executed. Marvin Hubbard retreated to the utility corridor with Coy and Kretzer. He was the last to die. An 18-year-old Clarence Carnes spared the hostages, and because of this, he was not executed. These are the officers that took part in the riot. Bert Birch was the one that was overwhelmed by Coy in the gun gallery. He survived. Bill Miller, who became a hero, hid the escape key. However, in doing this, he was shot in cell 403. Ernest Lakeson was taken hostage in one of the cells but helped the investigation by secretly writing all of the inmates of the riot on the cell wall. Unfortunately, he was killed by Kretzer. Ed Stucker reported the trouble initially as he was working in the basement below and heard the trouble above him. Harold Stites was unfortunately killed by friendly fire as he tried to retake the gun gallery, and Phil Bergen that led the team of officers and regained the gun gallery. Now, amazingly, Bernie Coy discovered a vulnerable section of the bars in the gun gallery. He made a bar spreader simply by a bolt, nut and a section of a pipe to force the bars apart. Just goes to show how much he starved himself to fit through the bars. Absolutely incredible. On the right was the key that Bill Miller hid to the escape door, which unfortunately cost him his life. On the left was the scribbled names of the inmates that Officer Ernest Lakeson wrote on the wall after being shot. He then circled the ringleaders of the operation. And this is the gun gallery where it all went down, where Bernie somehow climbed these bars to overwhelm the guard above. So weird to know this all went down right here. And these are the cells 402 and 403 where the officers were taken hostages and locked up, unfortunately dying in. There is even a memorial for Bill Miller where he hid the escape key in this cell. Such an extraordinary story. And here's the visitation part of Alcatraz where inmates would see their loved ones through a small hole in the wall. It really makes you think that if you're a prisoner here, I couldn't imagine what they must feel to think they're in prison and they're just overlooking San Francisco, which is directly behind them. Just to think, I want to get out of this place. It's like it's within reach, but yet you're so far away. Literally, there's San Fran there. Just over a mile away. And now on to the infamous prison escape of Alcatraz that happened in 1962 by Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin, who made the most creative and thought out prison attempt in the history of Alcatraz, maybe even the world. They made dummy heads of themselves, simply made out of soap and cement, then painted them under their blankets at night. The escapees dug out the air vents at the back of their cells, crawled through them, climbed the pipes which led to the utility corridor and then to the roof, slid down a stovepipe and crept to the shoreline, and geniusly made boats out of raincoats and sailed away. As easy as that. The next morning, when officers made their daily check on inmates, this is what they saw the next day.
Morris!
When neither Anglin brother nor Frank Morris stood up in their cells, the guards had to investigate.
Morris! Get up!
And the head rolled over on the floor. The guard jumped out quite a ways, when that head rolled on the floor.
Here is the back of the cells for which the inmates would have had to climb 3 stories high. And here is a short conversation with one of the staff at Alcatraz who explained something quite bizarre.
They were told when they came from Leavenworth, there was a note to the warden that said, do not let these brothers bunk side by side because they're escape artists. And the warden here was so confident in Alcatraz, he said, it says here from the people at Leavenworth that I'm not supposed to let you bunk side by side, but to show you that we're family oriented, I'm going to let you bunk side by side. And now look at the holes in the back of the cell that were enlarged from the vent.
Yeah.
So
Just a little one.
that's what happened.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So really it was all the warden's fault for allowing 2 escape artists to have cells next to each other. Absolutely crazy. To me that's pretty common sense not to do that. Welcome to the recreation yard where some of the most famous prisoners came here to either make deals with other prisoners, have fights, sort out escape plans, work out. It's all here. It's quite an eerie location. I remember from the movie Escape from Alcatraz, I think Clint Eastwood stepped on those steps, he walked down those stairs and the fight happened around about here.
Wolf's coming at you.
Is he handcuffed?
Yes,
Which one?
he's right.
And you've got these big massive walls blocking any kind of civilization from you. And little do they know that if you just open this door, and the world is right here. So it's our last day of San Francisco today and travelling on the way back to LA. We're kind of losing light and it's about a 6-hour drive and I didn't really fancy, I'm getting a bit tired. So we've made a little pit stop at this campsite. I've been joined by Valerie from New York, my friend who was in my previous video. She's there playing with scarves as she does. And yeah, we decided to pitch camp, pitch our tent up. We're missing some pegs, so hopefully it doesn't blow over. We've drawn this little groovy campsite right next to the beach, and hopefully it won't be such a brisk night. Saves a little bit of money from spending on hotels or Airbnbs that we've been doing this whole trip. We've got some snacks, we're going to put the barbecue on, have a nice little feast tonight, and see how it goes. Camping out true Californian style. Hi guys. I'm in the middle of the campsite still. It's absolutely pitch black here, although it's quite eerie and scary at the same time, but it's quite nice and tranquil just knowing that you're at one with nature. So yeah, you can just briefly hear like the ocean and the waves crashing in the background, and there's no one really awake and everyone's either in their tent or RV and just watching the night pass away. We're about to go to bed now, but yeah, it's quite nice being in the outdoors. It really takes me back to living life as a scout leader and cubs and beavers and all that kind of stuff. Brings you back to normality and just puts you in perspective that life isn't always about, you know, electricity and phones and tablets and Xboxes and TV, and it's just living outdoors and just enjoying the night sky. So to sum up, I absolutely love San Francisco. It's such a lovely and just beautiful place. But obviously the main attraction that I liked was seeing Alcatraz. It really is a surreal place, and just treading their same footsteps as these convicts and just knowing exactly what went down there. Unfortunately I didn't have time to see the whole of Alcatraz. I had to go back to my car because I had paid for it on a meter and I didn't want to get a ticket, so yeah, I had to get the boat back and see if I had a ticket on my car. So I definitely need to go back. But if you're looking to go to San Francisco, I 100% recommend going to Alcatraz and just soak up what life would have been like at that famous Red Rock. But the prison escape is such a fascinating story, and to this day no one actually knows if Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers made it off the island alive. Like, the story has been going for 54 years now. There hasn't really been any true cut clear evidence that they made it off the island alive. Lots of people suspect that they drowned because the seas were very cold and they couldn't have made it, but I think that they did. A part of me wishes that they did make it off and they're living out in the world secretly. That would be really cool if they did that. They're the only 3 people to successfully escape from Alcatraz and live to tell the tale. Well, they're not telling the tale, but you know what I mean. But definitely YouTube it and Google it. There's lots to read up about the story. It is fascinating. And definitely watch Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood. Brilliant film, and everything was filmed at that prison. But that's it for San Francisco. Hopefully you liked this video. Next up I'm going to be meeting my brother from the airport later on, and we're going to be getting up to lots of mischief in LA again, but doing different things this time, so watch out for that video. Bye! Hi there guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you haven't seen my previous video, then shaboom! It's right there in front of you. And if you're into that whole social media thing, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, so you can stalk me to your heart's content. Anyway, I'm off. See you next time guys!